Based on a true story, Lion is the touching film of a young Indian man, Saru, who was adopted into an Australian family when he was 5 years of age, attempting to regain touch with his roots. The film follows Saru from his beginning in India, where he is separated from his family after he gets on a train looking for his brother Gudu. After being taken to an overcrowded orphanage, a couple from Tasmania, Australia were interested in adopting him. The film then cuts to Saru 25 years later, going to university. Saru then becomes obsessed with locating his biological family and reuniting with them. He attempts to find them through Google. Saru finally locates the place where he grew up and immediately jumps on a plane to go there. He is reunited with his mother and his sister, who never left the village in hopes he would one day return. There were many companies who were involved in the making of Lion, such as the Weinstein Company, Screen Australia, Seesaw, Aquarius Films, Sunstar Entertainment. The movie was generally well received by audiences, and on Rotten Tomatoes it received a 91% audience score for those who liked the film. However, people may have been reluctant to see the film due to the reputation of Australian films. On the other hand, due to the lead actor being Dev Patel, a well-known non-Australian actor, people would be drawn to the film, such as those who are a fan of him and those who are aware of his pre-existing work. The director of the film was Garth Davis, who prior to this film had only been involved in the direction of short films and episodes on TV shows. The opening scene provides context for the film and replicates Saru's search for his family. The moving shots of the landscape represent Saru searching on Google Earth for his family, except instead of the landscape being pixelated, it's in clear and crisp images. After seeing shots of land, there are many shots flying over the sea. This sets up the pretense of the story about going overseas to a different country, just as Saru did. The natural features of the land are very significant in this story, because this is how Saru eventually is able to identify his home village and find his family. The story of Saru is a true story and was made into a book called A Long Way Home. The writers adapted the book and created a film. The ending of the film was touching and beautiful. Filming Saru walking through the places he once knew allowed the film to come full circle, as we were able to compare between young Saru and present Saru. Because we had seen young Saru walk through these same parts, the audience feels as though they are also recalling memories from before he was lost. Also, in the credits of the film, when the real Saru is shown, the story becomes more real and the audience is able to truly empathize with the characters in the movie, knowing they are real people. The story is shown from Saru's point of view. This allows us to empathize with Saru and understand why he may say or do certain things. For example, he hides his search for his biological family from his adoptive family, as he didn't want to seem ungrateful. There is one clear storyline. However, many sub-stories are embedded within the film. For example, the sub-story of Saru and his girlfriend, the love they share and the way Saru's obsession affects their relationship. At the end, we are made aware of the story involving Saru's biological family and the grief they've experienced while Saru was gone. We are enlightened to the fact that Saru's mother lost 2 sons in one night, as Saru got lost and Gudu was hit by a train looking for Saru. Although these stories aren't prominent through the movie, they still add depth to the main storyline, allowing the audience to connect with the story fully. Saru is introduced to us in the very beginning as an adventurous and courageous young boy. His character as a young child is established in the first 8 minutes of the movie. He loves his family very much and looks up to his brother, aspiring to be just like him. When we first meet the adult Saru, he is full of life, going to hospitality school and having fun in the city. However, once he starts to look for his family, he has a major shift in character. Saru becomes a shell of someone he used to be. He becomes obsessed, secretive, and sullen. The film appears to be in chronological order, as we begin with Saru in India as a child, and through a title card notifying the audience, we jump 25 years to adult Saru in Australia. However, the audience is provided with flashbacks of Saru in India when he was a boy. Saru's memories take us back to moments in India that will help him identify his home. The scene begins with a medium-long shot of Saru walking to the dining room. He's in the middle of the frame and he's the only person in the frame. However, in the mise-en-scene, we are able to see the reflection off the oven of Sue with her head in her hands. The camera immediately cuts to Saru's point of view. We know this as the camera is at the height Saru would be. and it's from the position where Saru was standing. In the mise-en-scene, the room is partially covered by a wall and what appears to be a kitchen bench. This is to show how Saru is hidden from Sue and how Sue is trying to hide her crying so she doesn't disturb her family. It then cuts again to a mid-shot of Sue wiping her tears away. This is to represent how Sue would rather cry in private than burden her family as she whispers to Saru, "I'm okay." It then cuts to a medium-long shot of Saru walking further towards Sue. The scene then cuts to a mid-shot of Sue, with the back of Saru's head still coming toward her. Sue looks at Saru and then looks down and then once again back at Saru. This conveys a lot of emotion, such as shame and guilt. The lighting in this scene is supposed to be normal house lighting. However, there is a shadow against Sue's face to represent that she has two sides, a happy and loving one that was shown earlier, and one full of heartache. The touching moment when Saru wipes the tears from Sue's eyes allows the audience to appreciate the innocence of Saru. It's Saru's way of letting his mother know that she is not alone, and that even though he is only small, that he is still there to physically and metaphorically wipe away her tears. He puts his hand on her shoulder to console her, showing a level of maturity that isn't common among young children. He then embraces her in his tiny arms, a tear-jerking moment. As Sue takes him into her arms as well, she whispers to Saru, "I'm alright," as if to tell him that as long as he is around, she can get through things. There is powerful music in the background, violins starting soft and progressively getting louder. This type of emotional music pulls on the heartstrings of the audience, so they are fully engulfed in the moment. There is also diegetic sound in the mix, such as crickets chirping and Sue's crying. This was used to give context for the time and actions of the scene. I was highly impressed with this film right onto the very end. The beautiful cinematography combined with the impeccable acting and the moving score made me a very emotional viewer. I do believe Lion has changed the way I view Australian films, as I am able to understand the level of vulnerability our directors are able to evoke in not only the characters but also in the audience. I think I would probably give Australian films the benefit of the doubt.